Hi everyone, my name is Victoria and I am the owner and the founder of Equine Nutrition, and I have been asked to do a little chat about our foundation formula Compete. Now, we recently launched in the UK and I have had quite a few questions about this product, and so I just wanted to have a wee chat about it so that there's a better understanding about what it is, what it does, and how it works. It was actually our flagship formula. We now have 15 roughly formulas in the range in New Zealand. A few of those are in Australia now, and we have 4 here so far. So I just wanted to have a little chat about it. It's a very, very unique formulation and offers support for horses' health from many different angles. Now, I just wanted to talk about mineral health, mineral status, and the importance of minerals in feeding horses. It's something that we've really cottoned on to in the Southern Hemisphere, and it's having huge results for the horses. Farmers, are very quick to fertilize, drench, and to maintain the mineral health of their production animals the best way they can do. Obviously, it's a bit limiting when you've got so many animals. Economically, you've got to balance it. But if farmers didn't take this sort of care, then they would have low birth weights, higher incidence of disease, less robust animals, more sickness, more basically being more susceptible to issues and just not thriving. And our horses are no different. People too, actually. And I've noticed actually that it's not such a focus in some areas. And so we really put a very big focus on that. Now, not all minerals are created equal. Now, this is a really interesting point, and this is quite a new point for the UK and indeed Europe to some degree, that chelated minerals are used, but they tend to be used here and there. Now, the difference, I will explain all of this in a very straightforward manner, and I'll go into the science and the mineral chemistry and the reasons why at the end. So if you're not the chemistry buff and you don't want to hear the long explanations, then you can kind of get the gist by watching the beginning of this video. And if you want to hear the nuts and bolts, then stick with it. So we use organic minerals, and organic minerals, it's not the same as food. They are chelated, which means they are a different shape and a different kind of form. It makes them more friendly for the body, and they can absorb all of it rather than just sort of 10-20%. So it's very easy to get the mineral status of your horse improved and maintained at optimum level when you're using these minerals, chelated organic minerals. Now, we had to import most of ours because they just weren't available here. Now, why are minerals important? Minerals important is because, number one, they drive all the body systems of your horse. Secondly, bones, teeth, everything is made out of minerals. It's actually made out of minerals. So mineral deficiency affects coat quality, bone density, teeth longevity and health, hoof quality. Affects everything because essentially we are made of minerals. Now, because our earth is very deficient of minerals in the Western world, in areas where it's highly populated and farmed, it's really important that we add these back into their diet. Now, if we don't, sure, horse is not going to die. it might not thrive. It might get arthritis at a very early age. It might have a terrible coat. It might be more susceptible to mud fever, greasy heel. It might be more susceptible because its skin's not as robust. And it might be more susceptible to things like Cushing's later on. There's very real reasons and consequences of mineral deficiency. Now, when a horse is deficient in minerals, it gets them wherever it can. So, for example, if your horse is working hard and it's sweating, basically most of the content of sweat is minerals. That's why electrolyte is essentially minerals, but certain minerals, because they sweat certain minerals more than others. However, you can imagine if a horse is pouring out minerals and sweat every single day, how quickly they become even more deficient. And when they don't have enough, they suck them out of wherever they can, which is bones, hooves, everything suffers. And so I really do feel that a lot of traumatic accidents where horses have fractures, broken legs, things like that in the paddock, actually, don't need to happen. I think a lot of things that go wrong with horses are simply because they have low bone density. You're more likely to get things like cysts. You're more likely to get OCD, and it's generally just a minefield of things that can possibly go wrong if you don't have enough minerals in the horse's diet. So we really focus on only using organic chelated minerals, which are absorbed 99 to 100%. They're all in the same form, so they're all equally absorbed. Now, a lot of inorganic minerals are absorbed quite poorly, and they really wildly vary in how much that they're absorbed. Some are 10%, some are 20%, some are 30%, some are 40%, some are 50%. So, but the other kind of catchphrase is that, not catchphrase, but the problem is that they often can't absorb one mineral if they don't have enough of another. So there are intimate relationships between these minerals. And so, if you're pumping your horse full of calcium, then it's going to struggle to absorb magnesium from its feed. Too much magnesium, then it's going to struggle to, absorb calcium. And of course, if there's not enough, then it's just as bad. So if you don't have enough copper in the diet, it's not going to be able to absorb zinc, and it just goes on and on and on. There are very strong relationships between each mineral, and so the best way that you can support your horse's health is to feed minerals that are really well absorbed and all of the major trace minerals that tend to be the most deficient in our soils and environment. And sometimes just adding one or two or feeding a product that just has copper in it or just has zinc in it actually causes more problems than not having enough, because again, you've got an imbalance. And that is what feeding minerals of the same form and all perfectly absorbed helps. It means that it's being addressed in a holistic, complete manner, and they can absorb what they need to fill in the rest of the gaps. Now, that's one side of it. We also address the fact that growing grass is magnesium deficient. And so, it's very easy for horses when they're eating grass to become quite magnesium deficient. And so that is a mineral that's required in quite large amounts. It also has a bit of a calming effect, and so that's helpful. But it also is really important for contraction, and calcium and magnesium are very, very important for contraction and relaxation of muscles. And so we don't tend to address the calcium phosphorus ratio, although we do have calcium in all our formulas, some more than others obviously, because they're designed as a system and you need to be able to safely feed anything from the range together. But given that magnesium is very, very deficient in growing grass, we've addressed this by adding more of that in there. Now, your calcium phosphorus ratio should be looked after by the feeds that you feed, because this is a very important ratio, and it is phosphorus and calcium are either plentiful or scarce in the feeds that you feed. So it's really important that that calcium phosphorus ratio is looked after separately to a supplement. And most premix feeds will look after that. They will have a 1.5 to 1 or 2 to 1 ratio calcium to phosphorus. Ideally, you want 1.5 to 1. Otherwise, again, it can affect bone density. So there's a little bit of calcium in our formulas, and there's a reasonable amount of magnesium in there. It is one of the things they really sweat the most. Potassium is very plentiful in grass and good quality hay, so it is not something that we add. But obviously, it is something that needs to be addressed if they're very working hard and they're sweating, and that's why it is in electrolytes. Now, the other part of the formula is pre and probiotics. Now, there's a saying no foot, no horse. So true. But first equal would be no gut, no horse. Most of what goes on with horses is gut related and can originate from that. So we have a pre and probiotic in Compete, but we have it at a really high level of active. Now, mostly with gut products, you might be lucky to have 3 or 4 grams per dose of a pre and probiotic. We are up to 20. So it really does make a difference. And it really gets results. Because a horse is basically a walking hindgut. Everything that goes wrong with a horse basically originates in a hindgut that's not working or happy. And so that is a really, really important part of the formula. And immune function centers around the gut as well. So it's quite incredible when you support the horse in every angle that it needs to be, incredible things start to happen. Now, I know someone's going to say, well, why don't we just fertilize our fields and then we won't have to worry about this? Well, the thing with horses is that they don't do particularly well with nitrates and nitrogen. And fertilizers typically are extremely high in nitrogen because that's what makes grass grow. Now, horses don't do very well with that at all. And so horses are designed to eat large amounts of poor quality, high fiber feed. That is what they're designed to do. That's what they've done for millions of years. And when we try and change that or manage them not in sync with that, then things start to really go wrong. But that's another conversation. That's a management conversation. So, but gut support and supporting the gut is just so incredibly important. Now, and the thing about Compete is that because it's such a perfect way of supporting the horse from lots of different angles and different angles that really matter, and there's a very, very high level of active, so it's not just a donation to the company. It actually seriously has, we've done some research into level of actives in competing products, and ours come out really, really, really good. So we have found that when we support horses to this level, then quite astonishing things start to happen. So Compete supports the horse's body to be able to put things right themselves. So we don't claim as a cure, but what we found about 2 or 3 years into this product was that customers were contacting us and say, oh my God, my mud fever has disappeared within a month. And they all say the same thing, within a month. And so over the last 10, 15 years, it's been available for 16 years now. We have realized that we have a product here that reliably supports the horse to get rid of mud fever, rain scald, We've found now that horses with sweet itch in Australia are responding incredibly well. Scurfy coats, lumps and bumps, just generally skin that's not that healthy. And that can actually be a mineral deficiency. The robustness of the skin is a very important thing. And without mineral health, that really suffers. And we've also had horses that have been in hospital who haven't been responding to antibiotics and anti-inflammatories, and we've double dosed the compete, and they've been discharged within a week. It has quite extraordinary effect on the horses. And so, any sort of skin issues, we even had cellulitis at the stud that I own when it gets very, very wet and muddy, and the babies, sometimes their legs will fill. We'll put them straight on the compete, and within 3 days their legs are normal. So it is a really wonderful product. And the thing about supporting your horse like this long term is that you're more likely to have a 16, 17, 18-year-old sport horse that is healthy, in a good order, less likely to have arthritis, less likely to have Cushing's, just thriving at a later age. And I think that's really important, because our horses are incredibly intelligent, and when we teach them something, it's in their head for life. Every day you work with them, you're investing in the future. And so, if you want to be able to enjoy your horse for many, many years, and you want them to have a quality of life, this sort of thing is really, really important. But anyway, I'm sure we're going to do some more videos on different products and different ideas and different things that are worth discussing. And I want to talk about the mineral chemistry. So regarding the organic minerals, what makes them actually different from the organic minerals versus inorganic minerals is that inorganic minerals have a molecule that is a little bit like a sea anemone. It's got little bits that stick out, and it's not it easily attaches to something else because it's got little atoms that are sticking out and are ready to attach to another atom. And so as soon as it attaches to something else, it becomes something else. And this is why inorganic minerals have a real toxicity problem, because they aren't stable, and they very easily attach to other molecules, and they very easily can cause problems with toxicity. The thing is with chelated organic minerals, especially your protonates and glycinates, are that they are more of a stable shape. So they'll be more of a ring without bits and pieces sticking out. So they're more of a circular closed shape, less likely to attach to other things. Also, what the little atoms are joined with, they're joined with ligands. So a molecule is atoms joined with ligands. Now those ligands either look like this or it's a circle. So, organic minerals, the ligands are things like protein or an amino acid. Those atoms are linked with protein or amino acids. And so when it goes through the gut, it's more stable in gut acid. So inorganics are less stable in gut acid and can actually be broken down before they're absorbed or attached to something else. And so this is why they aren't as good, and they do have very real risks. Organic minerals are almost completely non-toxic. So anyway, I just wanted to share this with you, and hopefully it has helped a little bit more with understanding of the product and why we do what we do. I am really happy to address questions. So if any of you want to ask questions, I can collect them and maybe do another video and we can chat then. Okay, bye.